Okay, so welcome to the SEO guide for 2016. This is a complete course for how to do SEO in 2016, um, including all the recent changes that Google has made to various algorithms, which I'll get to in a second. So this is the companion course to my SEO guide 2015. If you haven't seen the SEO guide for 2015, a couple of things would still be relevant. You can see that at j.mp/Josh 2015. Again, that'd be J as in Juliet, .mp/Josh 2015. That's the 2015 course. This is the 2016 course with lots of new and exciting stuff. So let's get right into it. So, SEO sometimes can feel like this dark, mysterious forest with steam coming off of boulders and trees. But SEO is not dead. Fear not, my valiant listeners. SEO is not dead. In fact, SEO is even better in 2016. There's big changes in 2016. And SEO, in some ways, SEO has become very exciting, as this young fellow is showing us. But in fact, SEO has even become a little bit easier in 2016 in a way. But as I said, the devil is always in the details. So we're going to look at the positive ranking factors that are happening in 2016, but also the negative ranking factors that are happening in 2016. And we're going to see what we're supposed to do and what we're supposed to avoid. And let's take a look. So as I said, here are the positive ranking factors. The first one is the best one. It's the most important one. It's ye olde on-page SEO. So the first thing you need to do in 2016 SEO is you need to research your topics. The question is, what do people search for most? You still need to do ye olde keyword research. To do this, I would use Google AdWords Keyword Planner. Google AdWords Keyword Planner is still the best resource as far as I'm concerned because it gives you a number of things that no other tool does. I would go broad match for your keywords. I would look for what people are generally searching for. Remember, to Google, there's very little difference between unusual Xmas gifts and weird Christmas gifts. They will rank pages for either query as long as they can see that's what the page is about. So I would go broad match for searching for the maximum range of traffic, and then in that I would drill down to the exact match search query. So if people are searching for weird Xmas gifts the most, that's what I would name the page, that's what I would have on the page the most, only if it's natural, and you'll know what I mean. Some niches, some verticals, some search query spaces, people are doing weird searches just because Google's not giving them the right stuff. Or at least it used to be that way. I don't know if it's still that way anymore. With the advent of Hummingbird and other algorithms we're going to be getting to in a second called RankBrain, people are speaking to their Google phone and speaking to Google as if it's a human being, and they're asking it, Google, show me what is the most important thing, or what is this, or what is that. They're not necessarily typing in search queries anymore. So you need to do keyword research to find out what people are actually searching so you can optimize for that. Because Google is getting smarter in listening to people, it's getting smarter in understanding what the page is about, but it's still pretty dumb. And so if people are looking for unusual Xmas gifts, and that's what they search for most, Google will boost the page that is optimized for that most still the best. So again, you still want to optimize for the exact match if it's possible, but only if it's natural. If they're doing some kind of weird search because they're trying to trick Google into giving it what they want, you don't necessarily want to try and trick Google into giving that to people because Google has been watching out for that and does have a problem with that. And so, as I said, in the Google AdWords Keyword Planner, you want to select for your area. Remember, in the Keyword Planner, you can select for your area. The searches vary by your area. You might be quite surprised to find that people in Michigan search people different in New York, that searches different than people in Canada, that's different than the people in maybe India. So you have to check for your area, and the search variance can change. People in Canada could be looking for weird Xmas gifts. People in the States could be looking for weird Christmas gifts. So check for your area because it might be different. And of course, in 2016, you want to check if it's mobile searches or desktop searches because that makes a difference for your design and the kind of presentation you're going to have to give to people. In fact, Google has announced that they get more out of the 100 billion searches they get a month, more than 50% of it is mobile traffic. I repeat, in the 100 billion searches Google gets a month, more than 50% of it is now mobile smartphone traffic. So you need to watch out for that and check your traffic and see, check the traffic on the keywords and see what people are searching for most on that, and you have to optimize for that on your website as well. And check your website for your traffic to make sure that you're optimizing for the type of traffic you're getting, either mobile or desktop. And as I said, if you haven't done keyword research lately, do it again, because you might be very surprised at how the searches change over time. You can now select for your area. People are speaking to Google like it's a human being. Hey Google, please tell me why my life sucks. You know, they're asking Google many things, and you might be surprised that your keywords have changed. So do your keyword research again. So how would you take that information and utilize it? I would do it this way. Remember, when you're doing on-page SEO, the rules haven't changed very much, and so you want to make one topic per page. You do not want to try and optimize a single page for like buy red apples best, green apples. You don't want to optimize a page for those multiple topics or multiple search queries. As long as it's natural sounding, you want to make that one topic per page. Red apples is my product example I always use. The product is called red apples. So you want to put red apples in the title. They can buy red apples here. You want to put it in the H1 heading. This does still give you a boost. The title still gives you a boost. The H1 still gives you a boost. John Mueller from Google recently leaked that just a couple months ago. So for 2016, these are still giving you a boost just as they did in 1998, right, in 1999. And of course you want the content talking about, we have the best red apples, click here to buy. It doesn't have to be, a big thing. Exact match domains are still risky. If I was selling the Red Apples product, I would not want to have redapples.com. I would much rather have joshsfruitemporium.com/apples/redapples.html, right? It's where you can buy the Red Apples product. In the title, it would say buy Red Apples, which is the actual search query, which is also, luckily, a call to action. So that'd be a good thing. I'll talk a lot about that in a second. And the main thing here when you're writing your on-page SEO is to write for humans. You want to be precise. You want to label it, but you don't want to be repetitive or superfluous. You don't want to add in keywords in there that don't need to be in there. You don't want it to sound repetitive. So you want to write for humans. As I said, if it's the page that sells red apples, it's the Red Apples product, the name of the page should be redapples.html or redapples.php or whatever it is, or just /redapples. But in the title, you want to have buy red apples, which is the actual search query. Let's say, for example, you're trying to rank for, because it's lower in the sales funnel. People have got money in hand, they're ready to buy red apples. Maybe that's where you want to be. Depends on your business plan. But that's how you would optimize it. Remember, the title and description is for click-through rate. Mostly is equally as important for ranking as it is for click-through rate. So that's why the buy red apples is perfect in this example, because it's both a call to action, which will increase the click-through rate, and which I'll talk about when I get to titles specifically. But it's also what you want to rank for, buy red apples. People are typing in buy red apples on the buy red apples. They could also type in red apples, and that could be both a knowledge query and a purchase query. You'd have to see, when you do your keyword research, what the competition is like there and where you want to rank there. And of course, the point is you only have about 49 characters or so. Again, I'm going to get to better examples for titles in a second. But you can check how your title and your description are going to look at this awesome website here. It's the same one I recommended in my last SEO course last year, 2015. It's websiteadvantage.com.au/Google Search Emulators. I don't know anything else about this fellow, but I love this tool. It's a fantastic tool. I can wholeheartedly recommend the tool. And you want to stay fresh. You want to update regularly. You want to make sure that you have an updated on tag on the page, you have a current copyright, and the year in the title tag if there's room. Buy Red Apples 2016 would be the best thing to do, because people see that it's current, and it could even give a little bit of a freshness boost from their freshness algorithm. Bigger is still better. I'm afraid the old adage is still true. Big sites do have an advantage in Google ranking, but there's a huge, forgive the pun, there's a huge caveat to that, which I'll get to in a second. So remember that more pages does equal more rankings. Bigger sites do have an advantage. They have more pages to rank, and they seem to have some kind of domain authority that ranks them. remember, you want to maximize your internal link juice to your top pages. So again, on the josh'sfruitemporium.com example, I would want most of that site's links, if I'm trying to sell red apples, to go to the /red apples page, and I would want it to be linked from the index page. It's very important. Your most important pages that you want to rank the best have to be, one, linked from the index page, and two, have to have the majority of the website's link juice to tell Google, hey, this is the important thing on this site that people mostly do, that I want you to rank, that I want people to mostly do, right? So you want most of the internal link juice, and it has to be linked from the index page. And finally, keep in mind that if you lose pages, you're going to lose rankings. And that includes URL parameters that you may not even know that your web server is spewing out because your server guy set it up that way. Quite often I see people come to John Mueller from Google in these Hangouts, which I've watched every single one since he started, amongst many other sources for SEO knowledge that I have. And they say, hey John, I had some ranking problems. Maybe it was Panda, maybe it was Penguin, maybe it was manual, I don't know, I couldn't properly diagnose it. And so I went and deleted 1 million of my pages on my 2 million page site, and I'm not ranking the same anymore. And so I smack my forehead whenever I hear this, because there's so many things wrong here. There's so many things wrong here. One, they didn't properly diagnose what was going on. Two, they had a knee-jerk reaction, decided to delete 1 million pages. Whether that was the right thing to do or not, they're not going to rank the same. And John Mueller kind of rolls his eyes and says the exact same thing and says, listen, you're not going to rank the same anymore because you had a 2 million page site and you got XYZ rankings. Okay, well, you minus 1 million pages, you're going to have XYZ rankings minus, whatever other factor, right? You're not going to rank the same. If a 2 million page site ranks at this position, a 1 million page site is going to rank at some lower position, probably, unless you dodge some kind of penalty by doing that. But anyway, the point is that if you lose pages, you're going to lose internal link juice, you're going to lose domain authority, you're going to lose the rankings you had for those pages. And that includes your URL parameters. Make sure you check Search Console for your URL parameters. And Google will tell you, these are the URL parameters, and the URL parameters in the list is saying, these are the URL parameters we're essentially ignoring because they're duplicate content. Or we think they're duplicative or very close to being duplicated content. Because you have green apples, blue apples, red apples, and it's all the same kind of apples product. And no, sorry, a better example would be red apples Macintosh, red apples Gala, red apples, California, red apples Canadian, whatever. All those last things are all just variations of red apples. We're going to all collapse all those URL parameters into the red apples page, right? So watch, Google can do that, and this was happening a lot a couple of years ago when they rolled this algorithm out to just automatically concatenate those URL parameters, and people thought it was Panda, and they thought they had low quality. Well, it's kind of the same. They kind of had thin pages, right? Thin quality. So that's what happened. Now, you might be thinking from this, well, look how happy she looks, Josh. So I'm going to make a big website with lots of pages, and I'm just going to fluff up my website with millions of pages so I'll get ranking better. No. You can't do that. That's exactly what the Panda algorithm was made to eat. That's exactly what one of the Google penalties was made to destroy, was fluff pages that you just make to make a big site. You can't get a big site from fluff pages. So you want to have a big site, but only if you can maintain the quality. If you can't maintain the quality, if they don't convert, if the website is not super fast and super good looking website, super easy to use, if they don't convert, then it's a problem, right? And that's both a key to tell what's going on and a key to prove to cause what's going on, right? If your users are not converting at 60% or more on each page, whatever the conversion is supposed to be, they're supposed to like the page, they're supposed to become informed about the topic, or they're supposed to buy something, or they're supposed to click deeper into the site so they do buy something. Every page has a conversion that's supposed to happen, right? If not, you're doing it wrong. So keep in mind, this is a huge tip for 2016. The puns just keep coming. If they're not converting on each page the way they're supposed to convert, that's a problem, right? Each page has to be optimized so they convert. SEO is about conversion optimization these days more than anything, and I'm going to prove that to you in a second. So keep in mind, if they're not converting, then it's a problem for you. If they're not sharing the page, they're not being informed, if they're not clicking deeper into the site, if they're not actually buying on that page, whatever they're supposed to do on that page, if they're not contacting you on the Contact Us page, that is a problem, right? So you want to make a big site as possible, but only to the degree that every page is still succeeding more than 50% of the time. To that end, getting people to the site is still important. Your SERP click-through rate still matters. Now the SERP, what does SERP CTR mean? Some people asked me that in the last course. SERP means the search engine results page, in this case the Google search page, because we're usually talking about Google, although a lot of these tips work for Bing as well. And CTR stands for click-through rate. So essentially the search clicks, the clicks you get from the Google page, the organic results page, that's what SERP CTR is, and it matters tremendously. Why? Because it gives you more traffic now. If your click-through rate on a search query is only 5% and 100 people are searching and you're only getting 5 clicks, well, there's 95 more people you could have got to your site there, right? So if you improve, forget your rankings, if you improve your SERP click-through rate, you can get 95 more people now if you get 100% of the click-through rate. I would be very surprised if you got 100% of the click-through rate. But if you can get like 60% or more, that's a very good click-through rate. That's success in my books. And even 30 or 40% is pretty darn good for some queries. And that's what it is you want to do. And how do you do that? Well, you get a better title and a better description. If you have a better title and a better description, it equals a higher click-through rate, more people to your site, a better Panda defense, and better conversions because you made the site give them what they thought they were going to get, right? The title and meta description are kind of like a promise. Other people in the industry have said, and I agree, that if they're going, wow, get the best red apples here, 2016, they're thinking that, wow, they're going to get the best red apples here in 2016. So that's what you want them to find when they go to the page. You want them, the title and the meta description are a promise, and the page has to deliver on that promise. The more you fail to do that, I guarantee the ranking problems and the business problems you're going to have because you're not making sales either. So, and quite frankly, I think click-through rate is in and of itself a ranking factor. My OE from Google told me that personally when I saw her at SMX 2012 Advanced in Seattle. Again, I think it's a ranking factor that gives, and Brand Fishkin has tested this as well, right? He tweeted out, hey guys, everyone go to this page and click and go to this Google SERP and click this result to see if it boosts it. And it boosted it. So I think the click-through rate is a ranking factor in and of itself, and I think it works on a daily basis, and I'm going to get to this in very good detail later on. But I think that as long as they don't bounce back, if they're bouncing back, then that's going to be a problem because there's other algorithms that watch for that kind of a thing. Not whether they bounce back, but who terminates the search, right? The bounce back is not a negative factor, or at least it wasn't when I tested it a couple of years ago. It very well could be now. It was whoever search terminated got a boost, as opposed to everyone else by inverse proportion getting a drop because this guy got a boost. So how do we get more clicks? Well, first off, we need to find out how many clicks we have. You need to find your click-through rate. You need to go to Search Console, which, by the way, used to be called Webmaster Tools. Now it's called Search Console. It's Google Search Console. It used to be called Google Webmaster Tools. It's this free utility you install on your site. There is no problem installing it. Google, yes, if you have a huge big link farm, don't install it on your link farm. Other than that, on your money sites, yes, install Google Search Console on your money sites because it tells you things that you can't find anywhere else, and you won't know if there's a problem if you don't install it, like a manual penalty, for example, which I'll get to. So you want to install Google Search Console. There will be no problem installing it on your money sites. In fact, there will be a problem not installing it on your money sites. And you want to go into Search Console, Search Analytics, and then click the click-through rate box to get the click-through rate information. You also want to look at the position and the clicks and the impressions as well. If you don't know how to use Search Console, I have a video for you. I have a complete tutorial how all the super important SEO tips and secrets that are in Search Console. It's a super great video. I would find it here at youtube.com/jbachins. That's my YouTube channel. It's the Search Console. It's one of the later videos I've made, just 5 or 6 back from this particular video you're looking at. You may already be on my YouTube channel if you're watching this video. And so you want to check out how your title looks. You want to look in the Google's keyword ad planner, AdWords keyword planner for the ad preview. That'll tell you what it'll look like in the SERP. Or you can use, again, that Google SERP emulator that I showed you a couple slides back. And when you're there, buy that guy a beer. He's a good guy. And you want to differentiate yourself. Differentiation is super important in branding, and differentiation is becoming increasingly super important in SEO. You do not want to look like every other title. If the people you're competing against, and count yourself very lucky, If the people you're competing against have red apples, pipe, red apples, something like that is their title tag, you want to look more like this. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I got ahead of myself. You want to look like this. Wow, get the top red apples. And the meta description reads like this. You can get the best red apples for low prices, free delivery, visit today. That is what you want to look like, right? You want to build value. You're building the value. It's free delivery. It's the best. Wow. And you want a call to action. A call to action is a command. Get top red apples. That's not a proposition. You're saying it's a command. Do this. You go and get the top red apples right now. You go, do this. That's what you said, right? Visit today. This increases the clicks, right? Notice how I've positioned it down here on the bottom right, just by the way I've written it. Notice that I put asterisks around it. Notice that I have caps on the important words. You, best, free, low prices, right? Top. Yes, you can do that, and yes, you should do that, because it will increase your click-through rate. I've got click-through rates of anywhere from 40 to 60% on my sites, because I do this. And you always want to use the power words. These are the social psychologists have done scientific tests to show statistically that this will boost your click-through rate. This will boost your marketing adoption, they call it. You want to use you. Who does it relate to? You. You. Hey, you there, reading this. You. Right? And it's free, best, good, excellent, awesome. Any kind of adjective like that, although they particularly tested the word free, but I think any kind of positive evaluative adjective are going to work. Now, when do you want to do it? Now, right this second, now, RFN, today, right? And it's new. Now, you could argue new is another positive evaluative adjective, but they tested the word new, and I think because it's something new, that's another category of information that tells them that it's relevant, right? And so it's temporal. Not only is it great, but it's great right now. So that's different. So you want to add that as well if it's new, or even if you can positively fake that it's new. You want to say it's new. And then the reason, right? Whatever reason, right? Free delivery. That's a reason. Because of low prices. That's a reason. That's the kind of thing that you want to suggest to them, to recommend. So any kind of reason, because, why should they do this, right? And that helps out. If there is no reason, then it's a little bit fluffy. If you give them a reason, that increases it tremendously. People all the way since back to ancient Greece knew this. Aristotle wrote the Rhetoric, a book ostensibly about how to win arguments. And he says the best argument is always the one that is true, that has reasons behind it, right? So that has been true for the last 2,500 years, and it's still true. Okay, now, wait, something's going on. Something's going on. Google's taking control of my computer. What is this? Oh no, it's RankBrain. Sorry. RankBrain is Google's new, the most important algorithm for 2016 SEO. RankBrain is the new algorithm for the new artificial intelligence for Google that they're using tremendously. So let's talk about this. So if you remember back in my 2015 course, I talked about Hummingbird. Hummingbird is this cute little algorithm that is kind of like a database mechanism that goes out there, listens to the queries, and finds, parses or eats all the HTML and makes little nests, makes little entity databases about what the website is about and what the internet is about. Remember, they're trying to do an internet of things and not strings. Hummingbird, written in June 2013, was the algorithm that did all this. So if you want to learn more information about Hummingbird, go back to my course, my 2015 SEO course. I talked about this extensively because it was starting to become very, very important in 2015. Because they were testing RankBrain in 2015. They just hadn't announced it or named it yet. So go back to that course. Again, it's at j.mp/Josh2015. Or you can just find it. It's got like 150,000 views or something like that. If you do a search for SEO 2015, it'll come up in YouTube. Or you can find it again in my YouTube channel, youtube.com/jbachynski. Now, so again, Google does not rank web pages, as what I talk about in this course. Google does not rank web pages. Google ranks entities. They make an entity database, right? They make an entity of a certain business, Neutrogena, that has a website that sells its product called Neutrogena X49482. And it has a contact us page and has these employees, yada, 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 to make the knowledge base, right? To make the knowledge panel stuff. Now, so Hummingbird is the memory. Now they've just added RankBrain as the cognition. So Hummingbird is like the memory. Hummingbird is the memory. RankBrain is the thinking. RankBrain is an artificial intelligence. And what does it do? Well, it's machine learning. And it watches the searches, what people search for, what they click, their internal clicks, the internal search termination, to make an educated guess as to what each entity means / what the user wants. So how does that work? For example, if the user searches for Neutrogena, again, that was that fictitious, although there's a real site that I used for my last course, it's not called Neutrogena. It's just a fictitious name that I gave it. But if the user searches Neutrogena and you come up with two different search results, Neutrogena Motors or Neutrogena Skincare, and most of the users click Motors, or it ebbs and flows over time. Sometimes the users, one website's more, they did some advertising, and so Google thinks the Neutrogena Motors, they did make it like, come get your car fixed here, advertisement, right? And so more people are clicking on searching for Neutrogena and clicking the Motors result. Then Google's gonna, and they're satisfied and they don't bounce back over time. Google can tell us over time. The CTR algorithm is gonna boost them right away because it's new and trending, it has to respond right away, right? And then the RankBrain algorithm is gonna analyze their clicks and what they've been doing over time and make one of these core algorithm adjustments, right? That's what they're calling it. Then it's gonna bounce back like the kind they did on January 5th of this year, of 2016. And then a couple days after, this huge Panda release, which I'll talk about, which I think Panda and RankBrain are actually the same thing now. Anyway, if the users are quote-unquote satisfied based on their clicks, then they adjust the entity database / they adjust the rankings, right, of what they think people want when they type in Neutrogena because they're clicking Neutrogena Motors. That in its basic way is how it works. That's how they've always done it. They've just gotten much, much better at doing it, and they do it on much, much more different kinds of queries. As I said, this is how it's working for all the search queries. So they're doing this for knowledge-based queries, do queries, and go queries. Or other word, informational queries like, what the heck are red apples? Hey Google, bleep, what the heck are red apples? Those are a knowledge-based query. They want knowledge. Tell me what red apples are. Or, hey Google, I want to buy red apples. Or just typing in buy red apples. Transactional queries or do queries, or go queries or navigational queries where buyredapples.com, Josh's Food Emporium, space red apples, they want to go somewhere, right? It's a brand query. That's what I also call brand queries, navigational queries. They want to go somewhere, and that's directly proportional to the sales funnel as well. And this also applies to global and local rankings. Local has been working like this with the Pigeon update for quite some time, right? If people they want, chiropractic in Austin, Texas, they're going to click what they want, and if they terminate and they don't go back, those people are going to rank very, very well. And this is very important. This is not just some, like the 50th ranking factor for Google. This is the third biggest factor. This is after, two other things that I'll talk about in a second. This is the third biggest factor. Well, what are the first two factors? Well, here, I'll tell you. So here's basically how ranking breaks down. I'm going to break it down for you a different way in a little bit in my little graph I like to do, like I did for the 2015 course. But basically, here's how the ranking factors break down for 2016. You could rank, in the information I'm about to share with you, you could rank sites on this information alone, right? You could have a complete SEO tactics on the information I'm about to share with you alone. The first factor, the most important factor, is always, and always will be, the on-site semantic, the on-site semantic. The on-site SEO is the most important factor, always is going to be. And it works like this. It's the URL silo, so joshfoodemporium.com/apples/ the page name, redapples.html, right? That's what it's about. That's the product name you can get there, or the topic you can get there, right? Top 5 tips to clean your car, or best ways to fix your fence, whatever it is, on helpme I'm an idiot.com, right? Or whatever it is. So there's a / carpentry tips / fix your fence. That you use the silo features. Correlation studies show that does correlate with rankings, but not anywhere near as well as the page name being the exact thing they're looking for correlates with rankings. And then again in the title, this is probably from click-through rate. Really, I don't think there's a boost for the URL anymore, at least not for the EMD. They've denied that, and they've removed that. No tests show, no correlation studies show that there is any boost for having an exact match domain anymore. But the exact match query in the page name does correlate very highly with rankings. And Google has admitted that the title still gives you a boost as well. And so if you have it in the title, this would probably be a good thing, as long as it's not too repetitive with the page name. I would call, again, if the product is red apples I'm selling, I would call the page name red apples, and the title would have buy red apples. And then the H1 would be red apples 2016, top product or top rated by whoever, blah, blah, blah. You know, something, some kind of marketing speech like that, but also has the keyword in it. And then the text talks about it, right? This is all part of the on-site semantic. And then all the internal links, as I said, point to this page, telling it that, hey, this is the page that we think is wonderful. Google, this is an important page on here. Sculpt our page rank, cough, cough. This is the important page here. And finally, the last thing I haven't mentioned yet is the schema. Hummingbird reads the schema and eats the schema. So on the page, the Red Apples page, it should be using a product microdata. A product schema should be on this page. Not H-entry, not H-atom. Check your WordPress templates. People are still making this mistake. Check your WordPress templates for an H-atom or an H-entry schema. You do not want that schema that's telling Google that you're an RSS atom syndicated feed. You do not want to tell Google you're a syndicated content. If you sell a product on this page, you want to have the product microdata here to maximally tell Google in your internal SEO, your internal your on-site SEO, that this is what we're about, right? Whatever you're about is what you want to tell Google, and you want to have all these things here for that. That's the most important thing. You can rank with the other things I'm about to show you, but it'll be very difficult to do so. This is 60% of the game right here. I repeat, this is 60% of the game right here. Getting this right, and you've got a 6 out of 10 already. The next thing is the off-site semantic. So this is the second biggest factor. This is maybe, 30% of the game right here, maybe 20% of the game right here, maybe 30%. Again, there's backlinks. This used to be 100%. Like if I was doing this 10 years ago, all these other words here would be gone, and it would just be backlinks. That was the entire off-site semantic. But because people have spammed the hell out of this, and they can't trust it anymore, and no one's making backlinks anymore, they more and more reduce the quality of this. Backlinks in total of all these factors, I'd say maybe weighs 20%. That's right. I think backlinks are only 20% important to this 30% of this importance compared to this importance. Backlinks are hardly important anymore. You can get all these other things that I think Google are tracking that correlates highly with rankings and that just makes sense they would use, common sense they would use, and Google has leaked that you should get these things. Like no follow links, like topical mentions, just straight text mentions of your brand or your URL in topically related pages, like fruitreviews.com, right? Mentions Josh's Fruit Emporium, or fruitforum.com, people are talking about Josh's Fruit Emporium, or Zagat or Yelp, or I've got ratings and reviews from all these kinds of places as well, the offsite schema, or Walmart.com or Amazon.com in the comments is talking about on the Red Apples product. Oh yeah, I also got it from Josh's Fruit Emporium, right? And all in text, that's perfectly fine. If it's a no-follow link, even better. It's even stronger. If it's an actual link, even better. Again, with some caveats I'll get to in a second. And also the other off-site signals they can possibly use, like social. Social is the new big thing people are doing. No one runs a blog or makes links anymore, hardly anybody. So you want your social profile to have lots of action on it. I'll talk about that. You want social shares from experts especially, and you want clicks from social. Again, I'm going to go over all these things. I'm just going over kind of in general what the ranking factors for 2016 are going to be. And then finally, now we're getting more into the RankBrain stuff that they've been doing. Brand searches. These are so important for 2016 SEO. You want people searching for your brand. So I want people searching Josh's Fruit Emporium, enter, clicking more than 60% on my joshafruitemporium.com site, right? Or they're searching Josh's Fruit Emporium space Red Apples and clicking on the Red Apples page, this page right here. That Google can tell that's what they want because I have the silo structure and the page name here. And finally, this gets more into what the majority of RankBrain is doing. Remember, Google has admitted that RankBrain is the third biggest ranking factor after on-page. They didn't say this, but everyone in the industry has guessed, and I agree that it is, but they just think it's on-page and then backlinks. I know for a fact that there's many more factors you can use, because I have sites with absolutely no backlinks ranking. Again, I repeat, I have sites with no backlinks ranking whatsoever on very competitive SERPs. So again, if you want the proof of that, you want to take a look exactly what I did. Again, look at the 2015 SEO course, j.mp/Josh2015. That site's still ranking. But anyway, So Google has said that the third biggest factor is RankBrain, and it's based all on user clicks. That's what RankBrain, the machine learning, is looking at. That's not the only thing they have RankBrain looking at, but that's the main thing they have RankBrain looking at. So again, it's the SERP bounce, the click-through rate, the SERP bounce, they back to the SERP and click some other result. The internal bounce rate, they can watch those clicks. Black hats have put on packet sniffers onto their websites and proven that Google is watching these clicks. They now just added Safe Browse to the mobile world as well. So now they're on mobile watching these clicks as well. They can see if your returning visitors come to your site, either through Chrome or by searching on Google. And they can see that they remember the zombie update? Search for the zombie update if you don't believe me. They're actually sending bot traffic to people's websites to fill out conversion forms, and they're checking to see if the conversion happens through indirectly if they bounce back to the SERP, and directly if they convert, because they're sending bot traffic there and they can watch the clicks. This is what RankBrain does. That's what they made it for. Don't think they can't get access to it. They can get access to it. It doesn't matter if you have analytics installed or not. People have Chrome installed and they can watch the clicks in Chrome. And as I said, people in the Black Hat community have literally put packet sniffers on the traffic on the site and watched the traffic going back to Google every time somebody clicks something. And remember, that's why they had you remove the robots text for blocking your JS and CSS so they can see how the page actually renders, so they can do testing of this sort and they can see what people are actually clicking on. So you could build an entire theory of SEO based on this alone. You could rank sites on this information alone. But I'm going to drill down to get some more information as to how all this stuff works. And also, just keep in mind this footnote here. Keep in mind that I'm talking about global rankings. These are the most important factors probably for global rankings. And they're very important factors for local as well. But remember, local has geolocation. Even if you've done all this perfectly, if somebody on the other end of town has done it just as well or almost as well, but they're closer to the searcher, well, that searcher is going to get them instead, right? Also, this ignores personalization, both your search history, which doesn't matter if you're in incognito mode or not. Google has the tests of recent embarrassing tests where people have gone to porn sites, in incognito mode, and then have looked later on. Google is keeping track of that, by the way. And Eric Schmidt has admitted that they have global cookies that work even in incognito mode. Just FYI, if you're looking at naughty sites and you don't want Google to see it, you might want to use a different browser. But who knows if Google's getting it or not, because Google has backdoor deals with Firefox. And even though they switched their front-facing search to Yahoo, that doesn't mean they're not sharing information with them in the back end. Don't forget, Google has supplied Firefox with billions of dollars over the years. And they're watching your social, your logged-in history, and your social history as well, to whatever you're logged into. So don't forget, personalization is a huge factor for them as well, which can change this. But in basic terms, for the global rankings for new people, which is what you care about really, is the on-site semantics the most important thing, and then the off-site semantic is the second most important thing, and probably equally as important as user clicks, and it's only the third most important factor right now because they can't. One, they don't trust it because it's new. It's an artificial intelligence after all. You see this Terminator back here? They are a little scared of it, of course. But also because of something John Mueller just recently admitted in a Hangout just a week ago. The date now is January 13th, I believe, 14th. Just about a week ago, last week, John Mueller in a Hangout admitted that they can't make everything the RankBrain AI ranking because then it'll be very difficult for them to troubleshoot when things go wrong. Although they're already there. Google has admitted in a Forbes article that they had their top search engineers try to guess why these sites were ranking where they were, and they got it right 70% of the time. RankBrain got it right 80% of the time. That's right, this guy here, this monster here, so he got it right 80% of the time. Their artificial intelligence was 10% better than their search engineers. So I repeat, it's the third biggest ranking factor now, as they recently just admitted. It's the third biggest ranking factor. But it's going to be, my prediction for 2016 to 2017, it's going to beat out the off-site semantic. Why? Because this is a much better indication if people like that site or not. That's why, because where people click is the direct indication. So I knew they were going to go there back in 2012 when they released, in 2011 actually, when they released Panda and Penguin. I knew they were going to go there, and now they eventually have, just a little bit slower than I thought they would. Okay, so the question is, how do we optimize for RankBrain? How do we make sure that we're optimizing for this thing? Well, basically, optimizing for RankBrain is optimizing for user searches and for clicks. You want to make sure users are searching for your brand, including the brand plus the service, the brand plus the product. So for example, in my case, as I said, I want them looking for Josh's Fruit Emporium space apples, and then clicking on my result. And that tells Google, it's a huge signal for Google, telling them that, hey, this site is great, this brand is great, this entity is great for selling this entity. So when the user is looking for this entity plus this entity, serve this site, right? That's how it works. Again, these are the 2016 links. This is what you want. You want people searching for you. Whoever searches for you, you want them clicking on you. Whoever clicks on you, you want them sticking on you. Whoever sticks on you, you want them buying from you. You do not want them going back to the Google search. All right, next. You want to make sure you have over 60% click-through rate on brand searches. If you don't, you want to check the SERP to see why not. Again, if people are searching for your brand, if they're searching for Josh's Fruit Emporium, they should be 100% click-through rate. Like, why are they clicking some other result? Or it should be close to 100%. It should be like 90%, 80%. If they're not, if you got like 20% or 10% click-through rate on Josh's Fruit Emporium, then you got a problem, buddy. Because there's some other site there. So you got to check the SERP to see the search results page to see what else they could possibly be taking their attention away. Like maybe it's a site that says, "Hey, Josh's Fruit Emporium, the biggest scam online. Blah 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 blah. Josh is such a bad guy." Blah 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 blah. That could be a problem, right? So you want to check that out to make sure that that's not there. And you want to make sure they find what they are looking for. So again, as I said, preferably on that page. You don't want them clicking around your site looking for something, because you're going to, statistically speaking, mathematically speaking, you're going to lose people. But also, real world example speaking, you're going to lose people, right? Whatever they're looking for, if they want the most important thing, you want it right above the fold, above 500 pixels, under 3 seconds, and with 60% plus conversion. Yes, you should be able to get 60% plus conversion. I do, because you gotta show Google that you are the absolute best site for this. And finally, do all that, and do not, I repeat, do not let them bounce back to Google, because RankBrain is watching with his beady red eyes. Do not let the user bounce back to Google and select another result. That would be the worst thing, and really good for them and really bad for you and everybody else on that SERP. Or don't let them bounce around your site either, because John Mueller has mentioned that this is a factor that they could be watching, and as I said, those black hats put on a packet sniffer and watch that they are watching this traffic and clicking around the site. Okay, so then how do I do that exactly? How do I make sure these things don't happen? Well, again, you want to have a short, kitschy, memorable URL name. Kitschy.fun is a much better URL or a much better website for you to own than expensiveemd.com, right? You do not want to buy the exact match domain that's worth $50,000 or even $5,000 when you could have some kitschy kind of a name that's short on one of these new domain names, .guru, .ninja, .top, whatever it is. Have some kind of new short domain name, as short as you can make it, so it's fun, it's kitschy, it's memorable, and so people will type it in, people will share it, people will paste it in. The longer, more complex you make it, the less likely people are going to do that. You want to advertise, right? You want to find a good platform for advertising that is not too expensive for you, that you're going to reach an actual audience and reach actual people, so they will come to your site. You want to advertise on social. You want to go on social, have a social network. I'll talk about that in a second. You want to advertise on blogs. You want to make sure that you're on real places that people can see, so they will search you out. And you want to have the absolute best value of your site for your type, right? So I would say you want to be fun and personable and stuff like that, but obviously not every website wants to be fun and personable. Some sites have to be serious and austere. So that's fine, but whatever you do, you want to have the obvious, absolute best value for a site of your type, right? You have the best design, you look the most professional, you look like you're doing the best, you're the best guys to do this job, and usually in a friendly way. It's usually the best way to do it, and that will mean they're going to search for you and they're going to come back. And so that's my point. You want to be so good that they search for you, they return, they bookmark your site in their browser, whatever browser they're using. They put it under their favorites, and they share you. And finally, it wouldn't hurt if you incentivize. All this will incentivize searches and clicks. All these kinds of rewards. I like the good titles, the huge value proposition when they go there. It's just such a great site. I go there, it's easy, blah, 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 blah. Your tech is fast and easy to use. People in their blog posts, your blog posts are interesting. And you can even incentivize this with kind of contests, right? For a limited time, go to Google, search our name, however you tell them to do this, either in a pamphlet in your store or on your page. Go to Google, search our name, and click this result, and we'll give you a 10% off coupon or something like that. That would be a great thing to do, right? That would be a fantastic thing to do. Okay, local. So, here we are, local, somewhere in the world. Who can guess where we are? I'll give you a hint. It's rainy. We can see a church in any direction we look, and we can see booze in any direction we look. We must be in Ireland. All joking aside, yes, this is a picture from Ireland where I was recently. And it's a fantastic, Northern Ireland actually. And all joking aside, I love Ireland, I love the Irish people. And I wouldn't have it any other way. So local stuff. So the local stuff is the same as it was for last year, essentially. Local hasn't changed much. They made all these changes, they tested out in local, and now they're good with it, with how RankBrain and Pigeon is working. So as I said from last time, GBP is not pound sterling I'm talking about. I'm talking about a Google Business Photographer. You need an enhanced listing, right? You want to get an enhanced listing. You want to get the Google Business Photographer to come do the 360-degree tour. In fact, even an internal tour of your shop, because this will give you a huge boost in local ranking. You want to maximize your maps listing. If you have free parking, you want to put it there. If you have any kind of your time, any kind of video, any kind of bonuses for people shopping with you, you want to maximize your map listing and fill all that information out. You want to put your 3 categories of what you do. You do not want to spam it full of more than 3 categories unless you actually do more than 3 things. You don't want to put, I'm an orthopedic surgeon and I do medical reviews, and also I sell insurance and I have, I sell paint. You don't want to fill it full of categories like that. Just trying to rank for them. You only want to put in there what it is you do. You want to have a quality site. That's in the Google My Business profile I'm talking about. You want to have a quality site. Again, the stuff I've just talked about. You want to have the task completion. You have to make sure that if they're looking for a chiropractic Austin, Texas, they click on your result and they book a free consult, and then they close the tab, right? That's what you want to show Google that they've terminated the search. Otherwise, that search terminator I showed you is going to get you. And you want to have multiple good reviews, especially from local websites, like local forums, local blogs, local directories are still fine. These are the only directories that are still good is local directories, as long as they're moderated and there isn't like 50 listings on that page that are super spammy with exact match keywords. If it's not exact match keywords and there's still 50 listings, then it's okay. Even better if it's not. You want Google Plus ratings, you want Yelp ratings, you want Facebook ratings, etc. And of course, as I said, you have to be mobile optimized. For a lot of these local searches, mobile is the dominant force. The dominant searchers for local is mobile quite often. So you want to make sure that you're mobile optimized. And you have to watch your usage to make sure that they can use it both on desktop and on mobile. And finally, and this is a difficult one, you want to have a clickable business name to start. Now, I know this is a difficult recommendation for some people because you may already have a business you've selected, and changing your business name can be difficult and a little bit expensive. But actually, it's not that hard, not that tough to do, to change your business name. And here's the reasons why you might consider wanting to do it. To have that as your official business name, that would be your mailing address, or at least try to tell Google that's your business name for your mailing address. because it makes a huge difference for click-through rate. For example, I do SEO audits. That's one of the main things I do. I do hundreds of them a year. And I've seen a number of clients recently that they were ranking very well. In fact, one of them was even ranking #1 in the map pack for, like chiropractic Austin, Texas, or whatever, massage therapy, whatever it was, Tennessee. And the problem is that even though they're ranking #1, they had a terrible click-through rate, like 2% or 3%. Now you think they're ranking #1 for this, they should have a darn good click-through rate. But they didn't. And the reason why, I think, they had reviews as well. They had 20 positive reviews. The reason why they weren't having a click-through rate is because people are dumb. Don't forget how dumb people are, and how busy, and how distracted, and how quickly they have to do things. And so what they're looking for, Thai massage, Austin, Texas, they're looking for something that says authentic Thai massage or Thai massage, right? They're looking for something that has Thai massage in the business name. And because Google will rank your business name, not your title, they'll use your business name and your My Business profile in the map pack. Even if you're ranking #1 and you've got a name like, I don't know, I can't remember what he called it. It was like Mind Trip or something like that. And it was like a massage place or something along those lines. Okay, well, people don't associate Mind Trip, right, with Thai massage. If they're looking for Thai massage, they want to see Thai massage in the business name. So put it officially in your business name. If you're going to rely on organic traffic for your business, and every business does, put the service in your business name. And especially if you're just starting out, good, I've gotten to you before you make this mistake. Put the service in your business name because it will drastically increase your click-through rate. And that will be, if you can increase 5 people coming to you, 10 people coming to you, a month, that's going to increase the people who are actually buying. So it's going to increase your sales. So put the service in the business name. Social. Here's the next important thing. You want to be at this party. Actually, this party looks kind of funny and cheesy. Like this model here, she's not the cheesiest. This is so cheesy. The photographer told me to smile. I don't know. And she's like, oh, this is hilarious. I can't even look at these people. And she's laughing at these people over here because they're so cheesy. Anyway, but ignoring all the cheesiness in the models, this is where you want to be. You want to get your social buzz going. Social is, again, very important for SEO in 2016. But you might say, well, Josh, you tell me social is important, but I've been running social for years. I've had a Facebook page for the last 5 years, and 10 years, and I've been doing Twitter, and nothing happens, and no rankings ever happen, and nothing ever works. Well, I can tell you why, because you're not doing it right. That's why. Because it does help. The correlation strongly shows it helps. And let me show you exactly what factors help so I can give you a hand here to get to this party. So, the most important thing that correlation shows and Google leaks have shown is that activity on your associated profiles is the most important thing. You want at least one social channel, maybe more than one, like a really active and strong Twitter following, a really active and strong Facebook following, a really active and strong Google Plus following. Those are the ones that they can probably read, as long as it's a public Facebook fan page, or business page, which it probably will be, because Facebook has cracked down on that, of course, years ago. So you want it to be an organic, active, not bots. So you can tell, all of them can tell what bots look like, right? Matt Cutts told me they're writing algorithms. He was upset they had to write algorithms to determine spam and bots on other people's networks, but they did because they're Google, because they wanted to use it as a signal. So they can tell when there's bots. So don't have bots talking to each other. And if you're going to do it, you have to make it look really real. But I would just have a real organic social profile. It's easy. All you have to do is be friendly. Do not go to this party and start hucking your business cards at these people. This is what social is like. You do not want to go to this party and start hucking your business cards at these people and say, I sell cars, I sell cars. Buy now, buy now, buy now. 10% off, 10% off, 10% off. How good of a response do you think that's going to get from these lovely young ladies? 99% of them are going to leave your party. If that's the party you're trying to host on your social page, and your social page is nothing but posts that are automatically spewed out as 10% off this week, 10% off this week, they don't care. They don't care. They're not interested. They will be leaving. So, you have to post share-worthy content on your associated profiles. You want to brainstorm the viral content that people are going to find funny, that's going to be emotion-provoking, that people are going to want to share. Again, I went through the whole thing in the last course about how to do this. You can look at it at j.mp/josh2015, or you can have another video about this on my YouTube channel that my darling wife and I, who do this kind of consulting for clients, or you can contact us and we can come up with some killer ideas for you. Our videos get hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views. You also need to engage, comment, and talk. As I said, you don't want to sell and you don't want to auto-post. You want to be a real person who engages, comments, and talks with these people, or at least you want to hire someone to do that for you if you don't want to do it. The next thing is the clicks from social. This is a nice little Google leak that Google accidentally leaked, that I had to laugh. A young Google employee mentioned this, and then he got in trouble. And then they tried to backtrack. Oh, this is not a factor, not a factor. They do that all the time, right? They say something's a factor, and then they get in trouble. Oh, when I said that, I didn't mean it was a factor. I meant blah, 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 blah. They're not very good. So this has been leaked that it was a factor. They're looking at the clicks from social. They're tracking that to see if these are real users or real stuff going on. So that's important. If you have to drive people from your social page to your site. Now, you're going to say, well, Josh, that's difficult. You just told me I can't sell to them. I can't just post 10% off, 10% off, 10% off. Well, how am I going to drive them to my site? Well, my answer is, well, yes, but you want to go to this party and associate with these people, and then you can slip them your business card after the conversation is done and they're happy and say, oh, by the way, that's what I do. If you need anything, let me know. That's perfectly fine. So to put that metaphor in social speak, on your social profile, if every 50th or 30th post is some kind of a discount or some kind of bonus or something really cool or good that will drive them to the site, or like a contest on your site, by all means, you can do that. But you don't just want to have nothing but these 10% off posts that are just boring because no one's going to like that or engage with your talk. Unless you're Coca-Cola. You can't do social like Coca-Cola unless you're Coca-Cola. And then finally, shares of your pages do correlate with rankings. It could just be correlation and not causation, but they do correlate with rankings, but it has to be a lot of shares. And it's got to be with the right people. It's got to be with experts, right? So you want buzz from the experts and also people who are enthusiasts in that area. You can use something called BuzzSumo, which is a great resource to get them sharing your content. Reach out. You want to get the experts talking about you, so you can go on BuzzSumo and reach out and get yourself some of this. Links. Links in 2016. They are a wee bit risky, but they are still helpful. So let's talk a little bit about how to get them. As I said, I think they're only about 20% of the factor, but they still are a bit of a factor, and you might need them. So let's see how we can get them. This is the kind of links that they trust. This is the same as it has been. It's even gotten better because now they're using RankBrain machine learning on the disavow file entries. That's right, I said it. I don't have any proof other than it's just common sense and based on what Google has said and what they have not said. So putting 2 plus 2 together based on what Google has said. But this is how I would do it if I were them. And also Matt Cutts said they would do something like this. He just never said, he didn't say RankBrain because they didn't call it RankBrain back in 2013. But at SMX Advanced 2013, he said, we in the future, after the disavow file came out, everyone's freaking out. He said, yeah, in the future, it's entirely possible that we're going to run machine learning on these links. He said that. Point blank. So, go back and watch it if you like. It was a Q&A. So, the more people that fill in information in that disavow file, put links in there, the more that it doesn't directly have an effect, that it's going to eventually have an effect. And I'll talk about that. I have some anecdotal proof for that as well. 2 things of proof, actually. I'll talk about in a second. So anyway, these are the links that they trust. So you're going to want a high authority site links, right? You only want links from real businesses such as newspapers or charities. You want to reach out to your local news and do something that is cool so they're going to pick it up. You want to give to charity or donate to charity, or for this week, 10%, this week, everything I do is going to this charity or whatever. So you get more bang for your buck. If you're going to get links, you might as well go high white hat and try and get really authoritative links from really cool places. And that is not where everyone else is. If everyone else is getting links from, whatever, GSA or Russian link network or this or something else, is not where you want links because it's only going to be a temporary thing at best. Unless, of course, you have no other choice. But preferably, I would try and get links from better places, not where everyone else is. Like, you want to get the real newspapers and charities linking to you, real businesses, not where everyone else is. Of course, you want a main content link. You want the link from the main content. Of course, your anchor text, you want to have natural stop words and partial match variations. You want to have a good site for fruit, or you want to have buy red apples. You want to have a good site for fruit, or great apples, or great resource, something like that. And you want the appropriate amount of links. If all of your competitors only have 1,000 links and you have 100,000 links, that's going to scream to Google that there's some kind of problem there. You do not want to match SEO spam patterns. Here's the links that they 98% ignore. And you notice I went up from last time because, again, as I said, they've been using the disavow file to parse and use machine learning on what links they shouldn't be trusting. And as I said, I don't think they trust a lot of links these days anyway because they don't really need to. They're tracking the user clicks, and that is a much better... Links have always been, historically, nothing but a third-party tertiary signal to tell them what may or may not have some quality that they had to rely on because they didn't have the technology and or the gazumbas, quite frankly, the chutzpah, to track what people are actually clicking, and they didn't have the hardware to track what people are actually clicking. Now they do. Now they do. So they don't need links anymore as much as they do. But they do need links a little bit to find information at the very least, although that's not necessarily true. They can track a new domain, whether or not it has any links in it at all either. Okay, so the links that they 98% ignore, again, are going to be any kind of new blog. The blog is like 2 or 3 months old with articles on multi-topic blogs. It has an article on finance and an article on chiropractic and an article. That is not going to work, right? They're going to ignore that entirely. Any site where you can manually log in and post, they're probably not going to count those links, except some exceptions might be like Forbes or the Huffington Post. But those are pretty well spammed already, so they may not count those links. They probably do, but that would be, on my list of things that they may not count. Because it's the SEO community that is essentially training RankBrain what links are considered quote-unquote spammy, whatever the SEO community says is spammy is where you don't want to be. Whatever they say, oh, I think that's fine, that is where you could possibly get links because they're the ones training RankBrain. So there's a bit of a flaw in Google's logic there, that in getting the SEO community to be so scared about disavowing that they disavow, and then they're going to use machine learning on those files, it's therefore now dictated by the SEO community what they think is spammy or not. Unfair, yes. Stupid, yes. Terrible, yes. All these things. But at least now you can manipulate it now that you know how the rules work. So you don't want PR directories either, articles, anything that they're going to think is spammy. You don't want followed sidebar or footer links. You don't want comments or social bookmarks or forum profile links. And again, you don't want, I wouldn't even go over 8%. Exact match anchor text or commercial do follow anchor text, even if it's in the URL, that does not matter. So, you might say, okay, Josh, well, how do I get these trusted links? My answer is, don't bother. Seriously, don't bother. It's a minor signal of a lesser signal. I would just try to rank on the other safer signals first. I repeat, I wouldn't bother trying to get links. I would build my site out correctly. I would get active social profiles going. I'd find a good, cheap advertising source. I would have the best possible site. I might incentivize some brand searches. That's how I would do it. I would not try and go get links because they just don't really matter, and they're getting increasingly risky in terms of wasting your time because Google's ignoring so many of them, and also in terms of any kind of penalties associated, right? Quite frankly, you don't want to be awesome, you want to be popular. And the more popular you are, the more you will rank for your topic. But popularity is not determined by links anymore. Popularity is determined by these things here. And so this is the same graph I had last year. I just updated it now for 2016. So this again tells you exactly a much more detailed breakdown of exactly how to rank. So let's go through it. You want all the topical references. Those are do follow links, no follow links, text mentions, all on related topical social accounts and related topical blogs, related topical forums on your topic, all talking about you, how wonderful you are, the page in particular or the site in general. You want social shares, you want the experts sharing you, you want the experts talking about you, real social accounts talking about you, not bot accounts, because bot, B-O-T accounts, or B-O-G-H-T accounts, because they can tell, at least when it's an automatic people talking to each other, usually they can tell these kinds of things. You want brand searches. This is the most important difference, and it already was an important difference in 2015. John Mueller has been worrying about and warning us about this for the last 2 years. So it was already important in 2015, but now they've just admitted it, so now they've confirmed it. Yeah, they've admitted they have RankBrain as the third biggest factor. They don't, of course, admit what it does, but if you listen to what they say, they always talk about make sure you have the best site, make sure you're converting, and check to make sure your users are happy. Whenever they say check to make sure your users are happy, then it's user clicks they're worrying about. And John Mueller has mentioned make sure they're searching you in Google, make sure you have a short and catchy URL. This is very important. He emphasized so many times, this is very important, guys, I have to tell you. Because he knew that, no one's going to get this, right? And then it's a little bit unfair because, in some spaces where there's huge brands competing, you're never going to outcompete the searches for Walmart. Or it's going to be very difficult for you to do so. So I think he felt sorry, and that's why he told them. Anyway, so you need those brand searches. You want those brand searches. You want them searching Josh's Fruit Emporium. You want them searching joshsfruitemporium.com. You want them searching Josh's Fruit Emporium space apples or space red apples. That's the best. That's the best thing. You also, this is very important, you want social profile proof. You want your profile, your social pages to show that they're organic, there's parties going on, there's people laughing and having fun and talking and commenting and engaging, and people click from here to go to your site. And you want ratings and reviews. You want those 5-star ratings, you want good positive reviews, you want all this to be positive, none of this to be negative, by the way, because they can track both. And you want good positive ratings and good positive reviews, all pointing to the page and or the site. On the site, it has to be an awesome site. It has to be super sexy, super fast, super easy to use. You don't want them clicking to the page and then back again. They go to the product page. They don't like it. They go back. You don't want them not converting. You want them to go directly to the page and convert, preferably, or they go to index page, product page, convert. And remember, on the page name is what it is. The actual thing they're searching for. The title is why they should click it. The H1, H4 also could have a marketing thing like Red Apples 2016, our top rated product or something like that. The content is how they can get it, and the content doesn't need to be long, it can just be 3 sentences. If they want to just click and download something, or they want to just click and buy something, the content can be 1 sentence or not even any content above what it is they want to do. Put what they want to do above the content. You want a high click-through rate to these pages, and again, as I said, you want over a 60% conversion. That would be preferable. At least over 50% conversion. If you don't have that, then you're doing something wrong. Contact me, I'll help you. And then finally, you want the schema, the proper schema installed for the page. You don't want to tell them that your H-entry or H-atom RSS syndicated content. You want to tell them that if you have a product, you have the product schema, or if you have a service, you have the service schema, or if you have some kind of event, you have the event schema, etc., etc. This, folks, this is it. This is, in a nutshell, how you do it for 2016. You see, it's like 2015, but now it's sharpened up a bit, right? Because I've done more correlation studies to find out exactly what correlates with higher rankings, confirming what Google has said or ignoring the other stuff they haven't said. And also, they've admitted the brand searches, and so now, I had it in the last one, but now I've included it in the list. So things sharpen up, and this is exactly what you need to do to rank. If you follow this, you will rank in 2016 all day long. Sounds pretty easy, huh? Unfortunately, there are demoters. Unfortunately, there are negative algorithms that try and search for people who are doing a bad job on that, either doing that and or faking that. And they will penalize you, they will demote you. So let's take a look at the most common demoters that they have here. The first one, of course, is the lovely furry friend Panda. Panda is the single biggest demoter algorithm moving forward. If you will forgive the metaphor, I used to say it's like the Nazis, but now Panda is like Trump banging on your door, and he checks every house monthly completely unannounced, and he will punt out all the things there he finds that he's scared of that he doesn't like. So, yes, if you forgive the metaphor, Panda checks on a regular basis, and it checks for low-quality pages that users are not enjoying. It is based on usage metrics and on-site factors. Back in 2011, it was 100% on-site factors. Now to 2015, it's moved over. It's probably about 80% usage metrics and maybe 20% usage factors. That's my best guess, but now they've gotten better and better with RankBrain. I think RankBrain and Panda are actually the same thing. I think if you took off this furry exterior for Panda, you would see the Terminator underneath, because I think RankBrain is the brain that makes this Panda tick. Because they talk about core algorithm updates and Panda updates and quality updates all in the same breath. So, however, that being said, I think there's still some on-site factors, and they have multiple quality algorithms. Remember, guys, they've admitted they have multiple quality algorithms. So I think they still check for some on-site factors like ads above the fold, for example. They've admitted they have that. So you want to check my website, themoralconcept.net/pandalist.html. I have a complete list there. I can't go through the whole list and my whole spiel, but I have a complete list there of all the Panda factors that Google employees have actually said they think are crappy factors on websites. So it's right from the horse's mouth. It's much better than Amit Singhal's 23 questions, which, by the way, wasn't written by Amit Singhal. It was written by Matt Cutts, and Matt Cutts was just afraid of the feedback he'd get, so he put Amit Singhal's name on it. He admitted that to me in a private conversation. So anyway, it's not the 23 questions. It's the moralconcept.net/pandalist.html. These are actual leaks from Google of what they actually think makes a page low quality. So it either is directly searched for and directly used in Panda, or now it's just inadvertently, indirectly a problem, because insofar as it affects your usage metrics. And remember that Panda is now, this is the other biggest change, that Panda is now automatically updating in 2016. People call it real time. It's not technically real time in the sense that it's processing as fast as their other algorithms, but it is processed in real time in the sense that it's automatic. It's going to be automatic, and they're still testing it out, John Mueller says, but it's going to be running automatic. So remember, they have many quality algorithms, as I said. The daily dance that they do for quality, I think, is this click-through rate and SERP bounce. And the quarterly adjustments they're doing right now, they're doing adjustment every couple of months right now, but that's, John Mueller says that's going to move up to monthly, and I think it's going to even move to weekly. Because when they rolled out Panda 4.2, which they said was going to be moving to more of an automatic algorithm, they said it's going to take, 7 months to roll out. Nothing takes, months and months to roll out. That doesn't make any sense. What they were doing was computing the click baseline. They were computing the baseline for clicks. So they know in every industry, the average clicks for this is that, the average clicks for this is that, and then they can make ranking determinations based on movement away from the deviation from the standard, right? So that's what they were doing, is they were collecting the average clicks. They're getting the baseline clicks, and that takes a long time. Otherwise, they're going to have the longer the better. Otherwise, they're going to have problems, right? And so they're watching the average click-through rates and conversion rates for each industry. And then also, I think there's other quality algorithms that work on crawl and will process on a quarterly basis, whether you have too many ads above the fold or something like that. So there's many quality algorithms that are going to make daily, monthly, weekly, and kind of changes, maybe quarterly changes. But they're all of the quality algorithms, I think, and I think that explains what we're seeing in the search results. The upshot is that you got to have a good site, right? And this is just a short version of the list that I have on the moralconcept.net, and everything else I've already said, because again, I think RankBrain and Panda are the same thing. But you want to make sure your users are satisfied and converting over 60%. You want to make sure you have all the professional finishings. You have to have a professional looking design. It has to be a high quality professional looking design, modern looking design made by a real designer who knows what they're doing. You need to have legitimate business signals, like you need to have your address on every page, you have to have your phone number on every page. Yes, even if you're like an affiliate site or something like that, you need that if you want to escape the Panda Bear. You need to have a robust company directory, mission statements, things like that. You need to outlink to the authority sites, Wikipedia, whatever else it is. And you want to be shared, liked, reviewed, and rated. What you don't want is to have a boring blog. I repeat, you do not want to have a boring blog. I'm sorry if my longtime listeners have heard this rant from me before, but I'm going to give it again because I'm still finding this. That people have a blog that they made in 2008 and it's boring and no one likes it, and even if it is ranking at all, it's just it's a Panda weight on their site. I guarantee a boring blog is not going to help you. I guarantee a semi-good blog is actually not going to probably help you. It's as much a risk as it is a benefit. Unless your blog is super successful, people share it, people love it, people go from the blog to the site and convert, people come back and go read the blog and go to the site and convert. Unless this happens, the blog is not helping you. In fact, it's hurting you, because that's exactly what this panda bear eats. Whether on this blog or not, you do not want to have superfluous keywords. You do not want to have keywords that are unnecessary. You want to label everything correctly, as I showed you, but you do not want to just stuff in the keyword a bunch of times and have superfluous keywords in there. You don't want them in the title attributes. You don't want them in the alt attributes, if you can avoid it, unless that's the name of the picture. You don't want them stuffed in keywords. You don't want to have a bad reputation. You don't want the Better Business Bureau saying you've got a crappy rating, and you don't want this scam report this and this crap report that, saying you have a bad reputation. That will be a problem. You don't want to annoy users with ads. You don't want to have the ads annoying users. You don't want to have affiliate links, quite frankly. As far as Google is concerned, you don't want any affiliate links. You definitely want to no-follow them. If you can't hide them, I would consider maybe, putting them in an iframe and then roboting out the iframe so they can't read the iframe content. That might be a good idea. Or you might want to get tricky, and you might want to give a coupon code and say, go here, and they have to highlight it and click and go, and something like that. You don't want to have URL, but you don't want Google to see you have affiliate links, because then they will treat you differently, and they'll probably treat you harshly. You don't want to have URL parameters in the navigation or your canonicals. So what is a URL parameter? URL parameter would be josh'sfoodemporium.com/redapples.html variable equals 1, blah, blah, blah. The question mark, anything after the question mark is a URL parameter. You do not, John Mueller has said very strongly that they do not like URL parameters. They only want to index naked HTML, they said, the original HTML. You do not want to have URL parameters in your navigation. You do not want to have URL parameters in your canonical tags or in your sitemap. This is actually, he said, is a quality problem, so this is actually a problem. And finally, I know it wasn't that way for very many years, but now it is. Sorry, they've made a change. And finally, you don't want to have a bad design or HTML. John Mueller has mentioned that you don't get a bonus for valid HTML, but he has implied that it would be bad if you had invalid HTML or if you had broken markup, especially if it's so broken that it changes the design, and that this would be a bad thing. And he suggests you clean it up. Whenever John Mueller from Google suggests you clean something up, it's because it's a Google factor. That's why. He's not just being nice. There's no other reason. No one cares if your HTML is valid or not. So again, this is a problem. You don't want to have a bad design or bad HTML. Make sure you check in Search Console that Google can read your design and it looks exactly like it's supposed to look for users. And next, Penguin. Quack, quack, quack. Penguin is their web spam or over-optimization algorithm. It's a nasty little bugger. It works on both on-page and off-page over-optimization. So that generally means links. It's like 80% links, but it's not totally links. There's also an on-page factor. Google has admitted. So I think it's just links and on-page factors. And this is how it works. The testing I've done is pretty extensive, and I don't know if this new Penguin they're about to release, they haven't quite released it yet at the time of this video, but they're going to release it, and so I'm thinking it's probably going to work the exact same way, because how else could it work? Is that they're going to have exact match query links. If you have too many exact match query links pointing to your exact match query page, then that's going to be a problem. So if you're trying to rank for buy red apples, and you have 90% of your linking text pointing to your buyredapples.html page is buy red apples, that's exactly how and when Penguin would hit you. And it hits sites innocently as well. There are many false positives, like CyrusShepherd.com. Cyrus Shepherd is an SEO who works for Moz. He unfortunately made the mistake of having most of his links pointing to his site, Cyrus Shepherd. Well, that's not really a mistake. You can't really blame him for that. That's the guy's name. So Cyrus Shepherd was pointing to CyrusShepherd.com, and Penguin came along and crushed him. So that's what happened there, and you can see that happening in tons and tons of examples for Penguin. So that's basically how it worked, and I think that's how it's going to work. Remember, this includes, you have to make sure you don't have over-optimized keywords in your title or alt attributes, in your title tags, or in your URL, or your content, or your anchors. This includes all the above. And it is page-based. It's like negative link juice. It's like, you know, if you have over X amount % of exact match query to exact match query relation, then that page just starts to not rank, and that negative link juice flows to the rest of the pages that page is linked to, right? And it's punitive. They say the new Penguin's going to be in real time. Who knows if it's going to be in real time? And the disavow file might not do anything for the new version of Penguin. It doesn't do anything for now. There's two reasons why I believe this. One, John Mueller has implied that it won't. John Mueller was directly asked by Baruch Lubinsky a couple months ago, at the end of 2015, if the disavow file works, and John Mueller scoffed and looked all embarrassed and said, well, of course it worked. And then John Mueller said, and I quote, "It processes the information you send it properly," end quote. He doesn't say that, yes, it works exactly like I said, and you can put in your links and it'll be removed from your site. He didn't say that when pushed. When Baruch pushed him, he said, well, it processes, it takes in the information and processes the information. That's how it works for machine learning, right? So that tells me right there that, you know, John Mueller has a conscience, and if you push him, he doesn't like lying. And so that's what he said there. And also, Matt Cutts told me when I had a private conversation with him a couple of years ago that they could never let Penguin work, let the disavow file work that way. It could never let you escape from Penguin, because then black hats, and I'm almost directly quoting him, he said black hats will just use it and get out of Penguin. So they can never let that happen. And finally, I've tested the disavow file. You can check my rather controversial video I did on SEO Moz. And I did it on Moz because I knew a lot of those consultants were selling the disavow option, in my opinion, unethically. It made a big kerfuffle. But quite frankly, I've tested well over 40 sites now, because they tried to prove it. They keep sending me sites, that there are no sites that get a bonus after disavowing that also didn't delete links. Most of them don't. Most sites don't get a bonus. Most sites get hit, and anyone will admit that if you disavow your links or delete links, you're probably going to lose rankings, or you're not going to gain rankings back. You're going to stay at where you were when you got hit by what you think was a link-based algorithm, which is not. It's just probably Panda, actually. Probably RankBrain and Pandas would probably hit you, because they haven't reached Penguin since last year, since 2014. So even more than last year. So yeah, so the disavow file there's no proof to show that it does anything. There's no reason to believe it would do anything. That would be silly for Google to do it, except if they're making this new Penguin real time, then they might allow you to disavow out, because the problem, there's still negative SEO, which I'll get to in a second. So if you have Penguin, well, then how do you remove it? Well, one, you don't really even know unless they announce it. But say they did announce it. Then, well, what you want to do is you want to make sure you remove your on-page keyword repetition, again, out of the title and all attributes, the title tags, the URL, the content, and the anchors. And you want to delete, you're going to have to delete at least over 80% of those backlinks. That's going to be a problem. You're probably going to go so far as to de-rank yourself anyway completely. You might just want to start with a whole new website, quite frankly. It might be easier. But again, if you're going to do that, you can't just register a new domain name and transfer the site over, because Google is going to do an automatic 301 from the old site to the new site. That's right, they will automatically 301 the old site to the new site if you don't do that properly. So contact me if that's the route you want to go. There's other things we should try first. In fact, if you're going to go that route, you might as well try the disavow. It's not going to hurt anything at that point, but I'm 99% sure it's not going to help you either, until I see some convincing evidence otherwise. Or you can forward delete the target page. If it's an internal page that you were pointing your links to that you think got you nailed, or you were linking to, like, say, 5 or 6 different internal pages, or unfortunately someone negative SEO'd you and was linking to 5 or 6 internal pages with high exact match anchor text to exact match page, and you think that could be the problem because you went down on the date they said they released Penguin, then you can try to disavow, see if that does anything, or you can just delete these pages and rename the pages and see if that helps. Now, the question is there another way? Is there any other way to get rid of Penguin? The answer is yes. Yes, there is. There are all kinds of tricks and ways you can try to shake off the Penguin penalty. I've had good success with it as early as spring of last year, which is the last time I had to test it out to try. So, again, no one knows what's going to happen with the new Penguin. And a lot of people have critiqued me on this. That's mostly because my competitors just don't know what the secret is, and they're pissed off that I called them out for selling disavow files. So you have nothing to lose. If Penguin hits you, you have nothing to lose but try some of these tactics. Otherwise, you pretty much just have to delete all your links and start again, and or change your domain name and do it properly and start again. So I'd be more than happy to help you out. Speaking of nasty things you shouldn't be doing, paid links. Paid links is another big no-no you shouldn't be doing. It does not help you at all. It looks like Edward Snowden. Edward Snowden's paying this guy off. It's the big controversy. Paid links, affiliate links, and advertorials. They do all bubble up to the Google's manual team. Remember, Google's manual team looks for these kind of tactics. There's over 12,000 of them in India that they admitted. So they have more than enough manpower to review link networks and to review questionable links. But now that they've got RankBrain going, they haven't talked about these manual reviewers for a long time, the 12,000 of them. I wonder if they even have that many anymore, and RankBrain is just automatically ignoring links. That could be the reason why they're keeping going with Penguin, because they want to stop paying 12,000 people over in India to do this job, as cheap as it is to get the Indians to do it. Their algorithms bubble up suspect links because they've got footer links, they've got sidebar links, and they've got exact match query stuff, and anything that's in the spam form. And they also police, John Mueller has recently admitted, a couple of months ago, in December of last year, they also policed, December 4th if I recall, they also police, he said, common areas where we find spam, so like payday loans and things like that. They're going to police that on a regular basis. SEO spaces, things like that. So this is what you want to avoid. You want to avoid any sidebar links, any footer links, any directory lists, any blog roles, any sitemaps, any compilation of sources, any like HTML sitemaps, style links. You don't want to be on them, you don't want to have them on your site. And at best, these are kind of links are devalued, so they're not useful to you at all. And at worst, they trigger the manual action if you have too many of them. Again, John Mueller just recently said in the same hangout, December 4th, 2015, he said if you just have, 5 sites, you're in the footer of 5 sites linking to you, that's perfectly fine. If you've got 500 sites linking to you in the footer, that's a problem. Don't do that. Speaking of which, manual actions. Manual actions or penalties are what the manual team gives you once they find you've done something that they don't like, in their holier-than-thou attitude of how they dominate the internet. There are 6 or more types of manual actions. They're all listed in Search Console. That's why it's important to have them installed. Remember, Search Console is Webmaster Tools, so the same thing. The two most, I'm not going to go over all of them, the 2 most important ones, there's a thin content penalty, a spam content penalty, and an affiliate content penalty, which is kind of the same thing, which is all very important, especially doing affiliate sites. But the 2 most important ones for the general run of the public are the unnatural link notices. Now, they recently rewritten all this verbiage, which is very interesting. Go back and watch my videos on these verbiage of how they've rewritten some of these things. But the 2 most important ones that they used to give out are action versus site and action versus links. Now, if you have unnatural links and they have an action versus your site, that's a problem. You'll see a huge ranking demotion, and you have to delete the links. You have to go and delete some of the links at least. You have to write up a reconsideration request and a letter apologizing to Google. I'm sorry, Google, please forgive me. I'll never do it again. I didn't know it was happening. My previous SEO did it. I'm the new SEO. Here's my phone number. Here's my office. Here's my full number and everything. Make them believe that you'll never do it again. And then after you disavow the ones you can't delete, and then you say, sorry, there's some that I just couldn't delete, or they were charging me to delete them, so I put them in the disavow file. Then you submit for reconsideration, and you can get out. If you make them believe that you didn't mean to do it and you'll never do it again, you can get out. If you can't make them believe that, then you can't get out. If it's your 2nd or 3rd manual action, you'll never get out. You will never get out at that point. Just delete the domain name, do a new design, a new content, and start up again. However, if you have the unnatural link notice versus links, you have to pay very close attention in your Search Console. If you have the unnatural link notice versus links, you must do nothing. This is nothing but a warning to change. This is them saying to you, we found some unnatural links. We're not sure if you made them. It's not egregious enough for us to do an action versus your entire site, so we're just taking these links out of your link graph. That's all they're saying, and that's all they're doing. You do not want to go add more links in the disavow file, because that's not going to help your rankings. At best, it's going to do nothing, and at worst, it's going to hurt you, right, if the disavow file actually does something. Or they see you adding links in there, and you're self-admitting that these links are bad, and so they just fine. They start in their back end, they start clicking these links off as bad, and then maybe run the algorithms on you to find even more links, even more aggressive. So do nothing if you have a natural link notice versus links. Do absolutely nothing. This is coming both from me and from Google. Although this is what Google used to say, and then they said, oh, well, if you want to disavow them, go ahead, because they want you to be scared, and they want you to put links in the disavow file for their machine learning. All right, here's another bugaboo. Here's another, in this case, attractive, but bad bugaboo that you don't want for SEO. The duplicate content penalty. Now, is there such a thing as a duplicate content penalty? No, everyone knows there's no such thing as a duplicate content penalty. But there are two problems with duplicate content. One, it forces Google to choose which page to rank. You never want to force Google to choose what page they're supposed to be ranking. And two, because they always choose a legacy, trust, and authority, which might not be you. If someone, if someone takes your article and puts it on Forbes or puts it on Huffington Post, they're going to choose Huffington Post or Forbes, right? Unless you happen to be Walmart or something. And two, John Mueller has admitted they do trust sites with duplicate content less. He has, when pushed, he did admit that they do trust sites with duplicate content less. So remember, any canonical or technical issues are quality issues as far as Google is concerned. I repeat, any canonical or technical issues are quality issues as far as Google is concerned. So, and that duplicate content is, by definition, a canonical issue, right? They're trying to find the canonical version, the authoritative version, the original version. So, what can we do to fix this? Well, we can use PubHub, SubHub, we can use Xender and good old SENuke, or we can use Search Console to get them to spider the content right away. We can get links on social to get them to spider, on important social profiles to get them to spider it right away. We can put links to our content on blogs that get read on a regular basis to get them to spider it right away. We can use right-click, copy-paste JavaScript blockers and view source blockers. Just don't block Google when you're doing it. We can use Copyscape to find copiers. The Copyscape utility is used by universities and SEOs. Use the batch search in Copyscape to find copiers of your content. We can file DMCA requests with Google to get them to take down versions of stolen content. We can maintain an accurate sitemap in Search Console. That's the XML sitemap you would upload. You would only upload it, and you would make sure that it was 100% correct every time. Otherwise, Google will ignore it. John Mueller from Google has directly admitted that they will ignore and never trust again a sitemap that has ever had a mistake. If you don't have a mistake in it, then you upload it, they will go and crawl right away. Or finally, you can just rewrite the content, especially if it's poorly performed. You can add in video and images, did you know, factoid blocks, things like that, to make your content different from the scraper's content. Internal, duplicate content on your own site is not that much of a problem. It's more about people scraping you and off-site duplicate content. Although I wouldn't have any on-site duplicate content either, right? If you have URL parameters, fine, they're going to ignore them. They don't like URL parameters, though. It's low-quality signal. This is a risk, and they don't like the stuffing of keywords in various pages either. If you have tag pages or category pages that have keyword stuff in them because the tags are listed, I would not have that either. So duplicate content comes along with other kind of problems, such as URL parameters, which they don't like, like of the Red Apples Macintosh, Red Apples Gala, Red Apples, Californian, whatever. And it comes along with the keyword stuffing as well. Those are tag pages, so those are problems as well. I would avoid the entire thing because John Mueller has admitted, and he wasn't specific. He said they do trust sites with duplicate content less. That could be internal or external. Speaking of stuff that's terrible, it's negative SEO. Negative SEO is still here, unfortunately. It's still a rampant thing. It's terrible. Google's getting better at tracking it, but they're not perfect. There's many kinds of negative SEO. In this case, there's link-based negative SEO. This is what most people think about when they think of negative SEO. That's too bad, because it's like probably the least kind of negative SEO. You can spam like it was 2008 with your keyword, red apples, red apples, red apples, red apples, put that on blogs and things like that, or places where the links might be counted. Do that enough, and the percentage of them are going to be counted and either positively, and a percentage are going to be counted negatively for that particular site. Penguin 3 did pick it up. Cuts admitted that Penguin would pick it up. He fully admitted to me, oh yeah, Penguin's going to pick it up. There's nothing we can do. Oh yeah, whatever. That's basically what he said to me. So there's going to be edge cases, and they fully know it, and they don't care. So this is a problem. If someone spams you enough, it could hurt you. And you can't disavow out of it. It's not really going to do anything. It's just going to help Google machine learn more. It's going to bring the percentage down, but it's still going to be a percentage that's going to hurt you. Unless they make the disavow file work like they said, John Mueller says it works, and they very well could, and I hope they will. I honestly hope that they will. That would be the best thing possible. But there's other kinds of negative SEO. There is tons of other kinds of negative SEO. You can report them to John Mueller, or you can put them in the spam form and get the manual team looking at them. You can do a denial of service attack, or you can do a direct denial of service attack to make them spit out a 500 level server error. And that will, I know for a fact, and I have a good colleague and friend in SEO who knows for a fact this works, because people do it against him all the time, and he's found ways around that. You can make thousands of fake URLs on their site by making links to a URL parameter or to a hash tag. That used to be a huge problem. John Mueller mentioned it shouldn't be so much a problem anymore, but he also mentioned that they don't like URL parameters and don't like keyword stuffing, which you can do. You make thousands of fake links to joshuasfruitemporium.com/redapples.html, question mark, red apples, red apples, red apples, red apples, red apples, red apples, repeat to infinity. And you can do that for all of his URLs. You can make 1 million more URLs on his site to make Google crawl them. You suck up their crawl budget, one, so Google can't crawl their site, and you slow their site down because Google's crawling them so much, and you have all these extra keywords. You can make like 90%, 99% of their pages keyword pages that are just duplicated. That can cause a problem for them. If they're teetering on the brink of quality, that can cause a problem. You can give them bad reviews on all these different sites, on scam sites and on BBB, the Better Business Bureau and whatnot. You can attack their backlinks. You can, if they have really strong backlinks, for newspapers, you can call newspapers, say that they're whatever, blah 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 blah. You can try and get those things taken down. You can say that you can email people and say, we've got a link penalty from Google, please delete these links because they're hurting us. You can do all kinds of things. You can scrape their articles and put their articles on Forbes or Huffington Post, or a big crazy place that Google is more authoritative than them, that Google is going to think is authoritative. You can spam their comments in their posts. You can go on their website and you can give them all kinds of spam comments. You know what happens on SE Roundtable when everyone is being negative, having negative comments and being little babies there and just fighting with each other? You can do that. That can have a problem for them. You can go and you can fake good users. You can screw up. You can do more. Like you can go and screw up their ability to diagnose problems. Right? You can send them bot traffic. You're not gonna help them or hurt them in Google by sending them fake bots to their site, but you can make it look like there's people converting on their site and people love the site and they think it's wonderful. And when the truth is that real users from Google hate the site and they're going back to Google and clicking on the result. So you can remove their ability so they can go, oh, what's wrong? Is people not like my site? And they go and check their analytics and go, no, everyone seems to like my site, so that's not a problem. And then they ignore that issue and don't fix it, right? So they can do stuff like that too. There's lots more things they can do. So you have to watch out for what people can do against you. How do you protect yourself against that? Well, quite frankly, the only thing you can do is make a great site, have a great server infrastructure, and be the thing people are looking for and satisfy them. Be head and shoulders better than everybody else. If you have an older domain, you've been spamming a little bit, they're more susceptible. It's like being an 80-year-old who smoked for all his life. If you want to jump out of that body and do a new body, right? You want to sub-brand, you want to if you already have a site that's ranking, but it's kind of teetering back and forth, make a new site with new content, a new business name if possible, sub-brand it, come at it from another direction, and get different sites going to protect yourself, mitigate your risk with having different websites, if you have the ability and the wherewithal to do it, or it's difficult to just make your site better. And you want to have the signals they don't know about, can't get. You want to have everything I talk about in here that most people don't know is so important for SEO. So, as I said, you want to be the site, right? Or you want to fake it well. You don't want to be an awesome site. You want to be the popular site. So again, this is the formula for ranking in 2016. Again, you want those topical references from the mentions, the do follow links, the no follow links. You want the social shares. You want both millions of shares, and also you want the experts to share you, the people who are real, robust accounts that Google knows are experts in their field. Remember, they have an expert algorithm to know who's an expert in what. You want brand searches. This is the most important thing probably for 2016. You want people searching your brand. You want to incentivize that if possible. The best way to incentivize it is to be awesome, but being popular in Google's eyes is more important than being awesome. And so you want to have a contest, you want to post on Craigslist, you want to do all these kinds of things to get, aged real IP addresses of real aged accounts in Google in your local area that you care to rank in. If that's just the world, then it's all around the world. In your language, anyway, group. Searching for your site and going to your site and not going back and selecting some other result and clicking some real thing on there and doing some real thing. So that's what you want. You do not want to buy these services that are using bot traffic, like BOT traffic, computer traffic, fake, even if it's a Chrome browser they're using, Google can tell if it's a fake Chrome browser. And you don't want to use proxy IPs as well, because Google has a list of those. So that's not going to work. The best way to do it is to actually have an awesome site, is the best way to do it. You want your social profiles to be well used, engaged with, commented on, talked about, and you want to have strong ratings and reviews, all pointing to your awesome site that's super fast, super sexy, super easy to use, super professional looking, and they're going directly to the page to convert. They're not going back to the page and index page, and the page has what they're about, the title has why to click it, you have an H1 there, the content is how to get it, you have a high click-through rate, over 60% conversion, and you have the schema installed. So, questions. How do I do that? Well, if you have any questions, by all means, I'd be more than happy to help you out. If you need an audit to figure out what's going on, what's wrong with your website, your SEO, if you need to do some correlation studies to figure out how all your competitors are doing it, or if you're moving into a new niche, I have a very powerful software that allows you to check these niches and do correlation studies on hundreds, well over 300 or 250 factors now. Or you just need help, you just have SEO questions, by all means contact me at joshbachynski@gmail.com. So thanks very much for listening. This has been the SEO course for 2016, the Advanced SEO Guide, Basic to Advanced course. I hope it's helped you out. If you want to watch it again, by all means, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Thank you very much, and as always, good luck in the search.